Hello everybody, my name is Shoreline614 and welcome to, Trainz stream. I don't do these a whole lot. I don't do these a whole often. Hello everybody, my name is Shoreline. I don't do Trainz streams a whole often, mostly because I don't really play this game all that much. But, today we're going to be doing something a bit different. For those who don't know, there is I am part of a group, the Iron Horsemen, which, is led by a guy called Ellis. Bombs321 is his YouTube channel, and he has been working on a route called the Tolbrynd Peninsula. That I felt like, I've been playing this route a lot, and it's a really good route. It's on the DLS, which is really nice as well. And I decided that I'm going to run a route. Hello D59, hello Redding, hello Dean, and I decided that I want to run this route today. And we're going to be doing something called the Lionhead turn. Now, a bit of backstory. This is the Tolbrynd Peninsula. It takes place within a completely fictional world that's somewhat based off of 1950s United States. Well, it's transition era. And one of the things I like about this map, and there are many things I like about this map, but the main thing that I like about it is that there are multiple railroads operating at once. So you'll get a map where maybe there'll only be one railroad, maybe two. But this route, it's big. It's still tiny compared to what it's eventually going to be. But as it currently stands, let me just get rid of consist so you can see the entire thing. Currently, it has 3 railroads. Let's go to Olive. This is Olive. This is one of the main towns for now. By the way, this is a very computer-intensive route. Luckily, my computer is actually strong enough to handle this. If you work on a potato computer, I doubt your computer will work from all of these speed trees, but speed trees are kind of a weird thing where they work on some people's computers but work on don't. So you have, part of the reason why I like this route so much is it has multiple railroads, and I guess there's the main railroad. This is the Gilson Eastern, I think? Let me get up the map. There's several maps for this. There goes my Twitch, Tolbrynd folder. Images. Maps. Yeah, this railroad right here is the Gilson Eastern, yeah. Which is kind of like a Pennsylvania Railroad sort of deal. 4-track, you know. What's it called? Not searchlights. Position lights. And then you have this other railroad, which is kind of like, I think, was described as being a bit like the DNRGW, which is called Vulgar Mountains Railroad, which, you know, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, you know, stuff like that. And currently, this is only, I think, the top northeastern, or let's orient ourselves east-west. This is only the northern part of the route, like the northeastern tippy top of the route. I've been pinged on my own server. Gilson Eastern, Vulgar Mountains, and Zion and Skyline is the one, but that's all the way down here, and that's not on this map yet. So there's a lot to this route already, and I really do like it. There are a few, not necessarily, I haven't really found anything wrong with this route, other than just parts of it that aren't complete. This is still very much a work in progress. But we're going to be doing the Lionhead turn. Wow, this is going to be a huge route. Let me bring up the map. Display Capture 2. This is the map which Ellis has provided us. Just this dotted area, this is going to be the eventual map, probably in 50 years when Ellis actually completes this. He does videos on his YouTube channel of him doing this. So we're in the northern corner of the map, which is the blue is the Gilson Eastern, the green is the Zion and Skyline, Vulgar Mountains. There's Olive, from Olive to Adams to Mason's Landing. So from Olive to Mason's Landing, from Olive through Adams to Deal Cliff, and then down to Mason Valley. Just this section is what we actually got so far, and eventually it's going to expand to all this, which this is going to be a really nice route once it's entirely done in order to actually run. Now, I will go back because we are running a very specific train today. And it's going to be a Vulgar Mountains train, and that train is the Lionhead turn. Now, here's the power for the Lionhead turn. We can actually go in Tane to the Lionhead turn. Let me turn down the... Hey, Foamers. Hey, Patrick. This guy's been working... Yeah, all this has been working on since 2017. Just this. Which, proves to me that this is going to be... this is certainly a long-term project for him. Now, we start out in Olive, and, currently, as it stands, the train, because as far as I know, with the exception of an intermodal train, no train on the Vulgar Mountains actually is based out of Olive. I think there's a town, I think it's called Jackson, which is modeled off-map, and that's where all the Vulgar Mountains freights are based out of. So here is our train. This right here is the Lionhead turn, Union Pacific Harriman consolidation, like 280. Yeah, consolidation. The projected mileage is supposed to be around 2,000. Yeah. So here's our train, and if we go back to our task, it says VMR Lionhead turn, which town of Lionhead. I'll show you once we get to it. It's locomotive 280 119. That's what we're boxcar with general goods. I just loaded in. So there is a session for this route. However, it's an AI session. I decided to load into just the normal base session because the base session has rolling stock and whatnot, and I decided to do it there. So, boxcar general goods, 55-ton hopper. Yeah, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 caboose. Now, in our switch list over here, there is a grain elevator. Not a grain elevator. There is a covered hopper on this train. However, inside the Vulgar Mountains freight train's dock, a lot of this is going to be like suggestions for Ellis. In the consist, there is no... It doesn't display this grain car. And I know this grain car is supposed to be here because in this dock, there's switch out Noctil Grain. There isn't an industry called Noctil Grain. It's called Elvira Valley Grain. I'm pretty sure, all the way up there, so that might need to be changed on the list as well. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit more. How is the audio? Like, how am I in compared to, like, the trains, the music? Let me actually back away from everything real quick. So I can... Yeah, that's the music is on in the background. Getting near the trains. Because there are a lot of stuff that's audio that's playing right now. So, alright. Here we go. On my end, everything's at 100%. It's pretty good. Alright. Alright, that's fair. So, we're gonna take the Lionhead turn. Now, the first thing... Let's switch to it. Now, the first... I'm actually gonna... Let's mess around with the weather settings a little bit, because I always like... For some reason, I always like it to be a bit drizzling when I'm out, you know, playing the game. I don't know. Or drizzly, or rainy, or cloudy. We'll just set it as cloudy. You know, it's not entirely, you know, perfectly good day. Alright, so our first thing is 10 o'clock, yep. depart north staging southbound along the VMR main line. So let's set our switches out of the staging yard. Now this is the VMR main line up here. We're gonna set right there. One thing that I also would like is actually no, right hand running. It would probably be nice if there was like a set of crossovers over here. Not that I really need them now because we're right hand running, but like if you're coming into the staging yard for whatever reason, I don't know why you would want to, but if you're coming in for the staging yard right here, a crossover would be really nice. So we enter the route, and we have to pull in, pick up one, enter Olive Yard. So, in order for us to enter Olive Yard, that switch is set the wrong way. We have to go straight, enter the yard, and need to make sure all my tracks are set the right way. Arrival departure, we're going to arrive. So, alright. So, most of the towns on the map are named after members of the group. I did not know that. I know Lionhead is named after Icer, I'm pretty sure. And Icer's pretty cool. He makes good routes. But, I know there is the Icer house, which is a direct reference to him. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll come in and watch. Who knows? Where's Lionhead again? Haven't been on this map in a while. Lionhead is along the Vulgar Mountains main line, about at the end of the scenic portion. So Lionhead is up. Even with a computer like mine, it does tend to freeze sometimes. As I said, this is a very computer-heavy map. Lionhead is up here. And this is the Lionhead turn. The map also has 2 interlocking towers, but they can be quite spotty. I have not figured out the interlocking tower system on this map. So, let's waste no time. I'm in scrub mode right here, mostly because... Actually... we'll go with this. And then, what I do, because I have no idea how to operate the coal and water, I just do automatic fireman. So, let's begin. Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna need the sander to get up the staging, I'm pretty sure. While we begin to pull out of the yard, I'm going to take a sip of my water. Haven't played in Trainz just 19. This route is a Trainz only. Alright. I'm pretty sure. I know Ellis did just port it into 19. Y'all's house. So, how is y'all Saturday going? Mine is going good, Patrick. I scheduled to work tomorrow at my restaurant job. Works fine on 19. I have not loaded this map out in 19. As far as I know, the only, like, official... You can run it in 19. Like, if you import it into 19, 99% of everything is going to work because, you know, it's, just due to the nature of Trainz and the fact that everything on this route is DLS content, which is actually quite impressive. It takes hours to install. Yeah. I installed this using my first class ticket. That's one thing that is kind of iffy about this. You need to be in easy mode in order to get up that grade. Took me like 3 days. You're better off using DCC mode to get out of staging. Yeah, alright. The problem is if you didn't know that, it might be a bit of a problem. But I don't run Trainz a whole lot in this game, so I don't really play this game a whole lot. I do like this game. It is a really fun game. But you can run into 19, but I've had multiple people having issues with it. Yeah. I'm running it in Trainz. As I said, I have 19, but I haven't messed around a whole lot in it. 19 is actually... 19 is actually... I've heard that 19 is actually more optimized than Trainz, like, Tane. Like, 19 runs a lot better. It's just... people don't like the look of 19. Whatever reason. Alright, 50 miles an hour. Next signal is red. Yeah, because I'm heading into the yard. 30 miles an hour. Ellis is ripping out the AI so we can redo it. Yeah, even in the session in 19, because I ran the AI session like a day or two ago, and it still was a bit iffy. I'm ready for the mobile game. I run Trainz on mobile a lot more. I didn't know there was one in development. Need to work on my fictional Italian route. Italy. That's interesting. Yeah, I just do everything in the United States. The problem with me is that I come up with a whole bunch of ideas for routes, but I'm incredibly slow at building them. The sun, it's called the sun, has a tendency to make things look bright in 19, yeah. Although the next few routes I'm going to build are probably going to be modules, because... oh, we have a 25 coming up. Are probably going to be modules, because, we need to start getting ready for Call Us Penn Central. Coming soon on 2026 Productions. Releases this month or next. Neat. I think I got my start in, like, Trainz 2010, I think, but I was on mobile for a really long time. If you go on the DLS, there are actually some of the mobile routes. I actually uploaded some of my mobile routes on the DLS I made from when I was, like, 10. I believe the interlocking tower is only applicable to the GERR. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. So far everything is good. My only complaints with running the Lionhead turret specifically is a really small one, and that this isn't on the Switch list, or on the consist list when you initially start. Majority of train users and assets are American-based. Yeah. Something like Train Simulator, like Dovetail's game, Train Simulator, I don't know. It's kind of the opposite, actually, where the majority of people there are British. But we're just pulling into what I'm going to assume is this is the joint, Gilson and Volga Mountains, yard here. Up there's the Olive Branch, that's, Gilson Eastern. So we need to stop. I do really like the fact that, honestly, been on Italian Railways hype for a while. They had some interesting equipment. Yeah, it's always, I don't know, seeing in other countries, like, unless it's, like, Canada or Mexico where you're familiar with it, seeing, like, how other countries, like, operate their rail networks and, like, the equipment they use is honestly a bit weird. Obviously, if you're an Italian and you know, Italian rail fan and you get, you know, exposed to all the Italian equipment, it's not going to be a big deal and you're going to stop. Dragon's Pass Railroad. That is a kind of a awful this must be a paint shed reskin. But hey. Alright, so we are in Olive. And our first duty of business is to, this is the switch list, pick up one flat car loaded with lumber. Now, when I loaded up this route, just the base, when I loaded up in Quick Drive, there was a problem in that there was no flat car full of lumber in the entirety of of olive. I could not find one. I don't know, there might be one around here, but I checked in all the spurs and didn't find one. So that's my another second, I guess, not criticism, but suggestion for the if someone wants to go in and do these like sessions, like trains, that being that not all the rolling stock you need is on the route. Now that's something small, that's another small thing, but it would be nice to have, so I had to put that down manually. Now, doesn't say where in the switch list where you need to put it, so I'm just going to put it at the front of my train. So let's pull out. Oh wait, no, I'm going in reverse. There we go. TBA made the DPRR. He lost it several years ago. Oh! Because, funny when you said that, because when I thought of Dragon's Pass, the first person I thought of was TBA. Rip. Yeah, I mean, I'm not... I will say these are kind of terrible looking, although... I mean, if this is a paint shed... I don't actually know if it's a paint shed reskin, it just looks like one. If that's an homage to, like, TBA's route, then it doesn't matter. That's fine. If you want to give homage to one of your friend's routes on your own route, Ellis is playing War Thunder. Funny that my Steam notification tends to pop up while I'm running this route. By all means, keep it... With that information, yeah, keep it. Alright. Alright. Reverser. Before we leave Olive, I do want to look around and just... Because there's a lot here for you to not only do, but just stuff to look at. Oh, is that Thunder out? Probably just getting his daily. Yeah. I used to do War Thunder streams with Steven and Brett. That was like 2-3 years ago at this point. I don't know, I never got far in War Thunder. There were some pretty fun streams. But I just kinda stopped doing them for whatever reason. I don't know. I make this content because it's fun to make content. And also I want a record of part of the reason why I make content to begin with is it's fun. Just fun to do. Second is, I kind of want a record of, like, me playing these games and whatnot. That's especially true for something like Kerbal Space Program, where I've done a lot of things in Kerbal Space Program which I've just simply lost. Can you please turn off your bell? Stop ringing bell. Alright, there we go. Yeah. Also motivates me to play games and whatnot. So while we're here, actually, let's switch this back onto our train. And then we'll look around Olive, and then we'll actually go and begin the turn, the Lionhead turn. The limit in this yard is 10 miles an hour. Yeah, red signal. Is there like an ignore red signal command? I'd imagine you'd have to do that in order for you to go through some place like this. And I'm not too sure. Olive Yard entrance south. Another thing that I really like about this route, as I just noticed, is the slight terrain variations and everything. Like, the pulpwood mill and all these industries are at a slightly lower elevation on the route. And I don't know, that just gives it depth, I guess. Like, because if you... I don't know. It just makes it look better. Like, it makes it feel more real. I'd be happy to provide more route info, but I have dinner in a bit. Dean, you do whatever you want. Ellis is the Admiral in my Steam's list. He's just Admiral Ellis in mine. Alright. Hello? Hello? Apparently... That's weird. I'm gonna chalk that down to Trainz sometimes being Trainz and not anything, like, I don't know. Maybe it's the model? I don't know. This is a really nice model, though. Yeah. So there, we've picked up our one flat car of lumber from the yard over here. I'd imagine aside from the TFOC business, I'd imagine because the Gilson Eastern, I guess, is the main railroad in this town. They have the 4-track main line, they have the lumber branch and whatnot. And the Vulgar Mountain's just kind of off to the side a little bit. Like, I know, based off of what I've seen in the AI sessions, nice model, but the whistle could be better. Yeah, I guess. Oof. I could have coupled more gently, but I was in the process of talking. I do know that the Vulgar Mountains does run TFOC trains to here. This is, I think, this yet again might be a joint facility, but I've only ever seen VRR trains in the AI session come here. Let's take a look around Olive real quick. Like, it's a seaside town, it's not a port, it's just like beaches and whatnot. Which is fine. Not every town needs to have some, like, massive industry, although this town does have a lot of industry. One little small thing that I like is this entire industrial park over here. And not because it's a particularly interesting place to switch, although I do think the track layout here is actually quite interesting. With the switchback and whatnot. I have one of these, like, a track work very similar on my model railroad. It's just that there's a lot of things here that suggested that this was actually the main line at one point. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a track mark over here that's like Olive Old Main, and that originally, when the Gilson Eastern was first built, it came through Olive this way. You know, this switch right here that just seemingly goes off into nowhere, or the fact that the interstate was built, and the rail lines were just kind of built over, and then over here there's just tracks embedded in the street over here, and I don't know. If I also over here, where there's some reason rusted rails, this must be a siding at one point. I really like that because it suggests a history to the railroad. Like, the railroad isn't just stuck in time. Like, stuff was added on, stuff was abandoned, you know, stuff like that, as I said, suggests that there's a history, and at one point in time, things look different, and in the future, they'll look different as well. And I don't know, I really like that. What else is interesting about Olive? Pulpwood mill, here's an industrial area. Turntable. I like this maintenance of way equipment parked here. Here's the Olive branch. Actually, another example of a route suggesting that there was a history is this dilapidated 2-foot, that there was a 2-foot gauge railroad at one point over here that ferried logs and whatnot, and I don't know, I just really like when route creators do this, because as I said, it suggests a history. It means that there's more than that this is, you know, it's an in-depth, it makes the route feel more in-depth, it makes the route feel more real. And this route has a lot of it, and that's one of the reasons why I like it a whole lot. I haven't run up on this part, on the Olive Branch. This is, the Olive Branch is owned by the Gilson Eastern. Here's the Vulgar Mountains main line, by the way. There's a turntable over here with various helpers and whatnot. This is I guess the helper grade. They base helpers out of here. 2-foot, it's what the people want. Hello, train man. Hello, Henry. Henry, you were saying you joined, and then you know what's in this roundhouse. I was passing this roundhouse, you know what's in here. Where is it? Oh. Bro, New Haven. Actually, Let's see if Henry FL9 is on this route, because he might be. He might be on this route. Because there are 3 FL9s right here. What's his number? I don't think any of these are Henry FL9, unfortunately. I think Henry FL9 is what, like 2401, I think. AO, yes. Yeah, 2401. Alright. There, Henry's on this route. I don't know, maybe we'll run him down the Gilson Eastern later. Butler, Indiana. What's this? Butler Industries, not Butler, Indiana. But, yeah. Then over here as well. The station and whatnot, and then there's, you know, the scrapyard and all this industrial siding. Yeah. Alright, so it's time for us to pull out. If anyone wants me to show the rest of Olive, that's fine. As I said, this is a DLS route, so you can download it. It just, as you see, it's very computer intensive, and, it takes a long time to download. Alright, so our next thing is depart Olive southbound along the VMR main line. So we need to set our switches. Olive Yard entrance, Olive Yard crossover. We need to cross over here onto the VMR connection track, and then I don't think we'll need a helper. And then south along the VMR main line, and then where does the double track end? It ends over here. So, alright, everything is switched the right way. Why? Hello? One thing I am going to do real quick is I am going to swap out the engine so I can get, like, sounds and whatnot. What was it, 198, I think? Yeah, 198. But, we'll run 2057, alright. We'll run Henry down the Gilson Eastern later, but, for now, we have to go to Lionhead. Icer Lion. Although, don't decapitate Icer, he's cool. I don't want him to die. Anyways. I think we need a helper. Famous last words. And we'll go fetch a helper if we need one. Just taking another sip of my water. While we pull out of the yard. Why doesn't it show how fast we're going? Why doesn't it show... Excuse me? Ah, there we go. Alright. That was weird. I'm also gonna chalk that up to just trains being trains. And the whistle's working again. And the headlights aren't on. There we go. So here we go, out of, we're going out of, what's it called? Olive. There's a town of Olive itself, there's the business district. Let's, hello? Sorry about that. I just had to check something real quick. Alright, let's go. 25 miles an hour. In our little Connie. Harriman Connie, although it's VRR Bulger Mountains 288. Eventually, I think there's going to be reskins for everything, but not right now. There's the helper shed. We'll go fetch, New Haven, Baldwin, it's a New Haven FM, not a Baldwin. Or is it? I don't know. If we need it. We are starting to climb out on a 1% grade. I have the sander on the entire time. probably not a good idea. I don't know why it's the chat. Oh yeah, the chat. I forgot about the chat. When I went to go set up the stream. So now the chat shows up, which is very, very good. Actually, it's an Alcho 6... HH600, lol. Ah. Okay. Now, we could accelerate up to 50, but I'm going to keep us at 25 right now. We're going over... I think this is called the Ventara River? There's a lot of rail bridges over this line. River. 3. That is the connection onto the... I don't know why... it keeps, that sound noise, that beeping noise. I'm gonna keep us at 25 for now. Alright. Oh. Accelerating a little bit too fast. Lay off on the regulator. Here we go. The backwoods, the wooded area. Up, cross. There's no crossbucks here. That might need to be fixed. That's fine. It's a small detail. We're going up a 1% grade now. Yeah, 1%. Oh, we were very briefly, now we're not. I am gonna turn up my regulator a little bit. Or throttle. This is the regulator. And, well, we got a green signal. Now, the Volga Mountains is primarily a single-track railroad. I don't think there's going to be any double-track on this railroad. Actually, no. There's some double-track back there. But that's kind of by design because of what you have to do with the portals. And hello, Guy the wise man himself. We are running the very based route today. 50 miles an hour. Alright, here we go. We're going over another river. What's this river called again? What? Side objects, terrain objects. The Deer, it's called Deer Run. Alright, nice. Road bridge down there. There's the Gilson Eastern Bridge. That's another thing I like about this route, because normally, on a lot of routes I see, the roads just kind of go off into the middle of nowhere, like... On a lot of other routes I see, like, someone wouldn't really bother with, like, a power line system like this and laying out all the roads to places which you wouldn't normally see and whatnot. And it's like, that's really neat. Airman Connie? Yep, the Lionhead turn. Do you have this route? I think you would like it a lot. Actually, no, because you suggested you had it when we were talking about your route the other day in Discord. Chat is... For whatever reason, Trainz decided to have a really bizarre, resolution. What if I move the chat box over here? Yeah, that's probably better. Trainz decided to have a really weird resolution. And so I had to adjust it in order to fit. Which, I mean, that's fine. Whenever I just stream another game or go to record something else, I just adjust it back. Although I do have, I think, I do have another two more videos in the works. I've driven on it before. It's not bad, but I'm waiting for a new update on it. Yeah. Ellis has gotten back into actually working on this route, which is really nice. So hopefully, soon, TM. Oh, it's just El Generico cab right here. Anything, yeah, just... That's not a Harriman Connie. Yeah. Yeah, the El Generico cab. Nice short train. Is, like, their views on the caboose? It's a Boston and Maine caboose. Oh, there are! That's neat. Nice, nice. Oh, that's really neat. I know, I've seen that he's been working it not too long ago on a live stream. Yeah. Cab. Yes, Henrique. That's neat. Right there. Oh, there's a road. D&M Pog. Boston to Maine is a very Pog railroad indeed. We are going up a 1%, so I am going to have to turn my sander on. Speed limit is 50, but no way in hell we're making that. Oh, crossing coming up. There. This is, Wigwags. They do use, I think this is Ashbury Ranch. See, another abandoned spur, and this is what I'm talking about. This is my favorite thing to look for in routes. You know, old stuff that used to, like, old abandoned tracks and stuff that used to go off, and I love stuff like this. But yeah, here's the ranch itself. Rather neat. Another thing that I remember Ellis saying on a live stream is that with a lot of routes, the towns more or less exist just to exist. Like, they don't have a reason to exist. Like, you build a town with a yard or maybe a couple of industries, and you have, like, 50 miles of, like, scenery, and then you have another town. And that's another thing I like about this route. There's stuff everywhere. Like, there's this ranch here, and it's just, there's no purpose. It's just there to be there. And it's there to give you a more, you know, interesting thing. Because if this entire part was just trees, that'd be kind of boring. But instead, there's this. Very, very, very neat. We are speeding up. 35 miles per hour. I almost say kilometers per hour. Here's that road again. Crossed over, back over there. Where does this road go to? It just parallels us. It goes up past... It goes through Adams. Adams is the next town we're going to pass through. Although we're not going to pass directly through it. More depth to the world. Yeah, those are the exact words I'm talking about. Routes with depth. Slow down, Lamo. No. No, James. I'm not slowing down. I need to... I'm at full throttle. I have the sander on. I'm doing 34. I'm supposed to be doing 50. Also, next distance is 35 coming up. So, yeah. You know, this is really relaxing. I might do more of these streams, especially as, like, school. I just started school. Comes up. Here's another river. This is named something as well, isn't it? No, it's not. Is this even a river? No, it's not. It's like... I don't know, maybe this is a result of a glacier? I don't know. This is a really interesting terrain feature right here. I really like that wooden trestle. Goes all the way down here, and... I don't know what this terrain feature is actually supposed to be, just like rocks? I don't know. But it's neat. I like it. Where's our train? There's our train. We are going up. I do really also like how windy this area is. I know that this is supposed to be loosely based on the DNRGW as kind of like a windy mountain railroad, but this honestly kind of reminds me of like the B&O in West Virginia, where the B&O in West Virginia was built really early on and whatnot, and it was super windy. Although there were some pretty well-engineered parts of the B&O in West Virginia. I have considered like making my own version of the route where I string up wires and I just say add in a second track and say, oh, this is the Washington, Ohio main line through West Virginia. W&O being my fictional railroad. Dry riverbed, maybe? That's what I was thinking, but, like, honestly, there aren't any rivers. Oh, there is one river. I don't think so, because the geography, like, there's this over here, and a river you would expect to cut through the mountains like this. We'll see that when we see that. We are going up at 2% now, Jesus. I do like how the rarehead's in the cut while the road just kind of goes over. Yet again, adds more. That's something that's realistic, and it adds more depth to the world. We should be approaching Adams. Yeah. Adams doesn't have any industry. It's just a passing sighting. The whole Vulgar Mountains railroad doesn't really have a lot of industry to begin with. At least on the portion that's currently modeled. Like, if we go to the Gilson Eastern, when we run Henry FL9 along it, there'll be a lot of, like, spurs and, like, industry down there, even in a relatively rural area. I guess because it's up in the mountains, like, there's not as much. I don't know, I like that. I like that, too. Here's, I guess another one of these. I don't want to say dry riverbeds. But, one of these terrain features. Oh my god. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. We're going downhill, that's why. I'll lay on the train brake a little bit. A bit harder to build the mountains for anything, just about. Yeah. We're passing by Adams. While we slow down to a speed that won't immediately kill us. There's the culvert again. There's Adams itself. It's all the way up there over the hills. I guess it's like, because the railroad really couldn't build all the way up over there. Like, that would have been much harder to do, so they just did down here and built this little station. That's Adams Station right there. But we have 50 the next 3 miles. Let's go take a look at Adams itself. So here's the road. Here's a field. Bit of switchbacks up the mountain. Here's Adams. Small little town, not big. I imagine that in the summer it's a dry riverbed. However, come spring when snow melts, it's got a little flow. Yeah. Adams is another nice town. Nice small town. See, like, Adams has no industry. It just exists. I'm pretty sure Adams is actually, like... Because there's this campsite up here, and we're about to cross over the canyon. Actually, let's... Did we already cross over the canyon? No, we didn't. Adams is more or less just, like, a town for tourism and whatnot. Like, it's a tourist town. Where you go up there, and you park, and, you know, whatnot. I really like the feature in TRS-19. It shows the gradient difference. Yeah, that'd be neat. That's neat. Like, there's this canyon here. But yeah, like, there's no industry there. There's no industries to switch out. There's nothing. But the town is still there because, you know, sometimes you just have towns in places and whatnot. See, on a lot of routes, that wouldn't exist. Because there's no real point to it existing. But, you know, depth of world. That whole depth of world, you know, feature. I do know that this is called RJ Canyon, and the only reason why I remember that is because RJ Canyon, RJ Corman, and RJ Corman is Eppin. There's a swamp down there. That's really neat. The Vulgar Mountains has some incredible bridges. Yeah, the gradient signal map is really nice. Somewhat like the Train Simulator franchise, but less intrusive. Yeah. Oh, we're going into a tunnel. And then the power lines, because they couldn't go into the tunnel, they came up over here. Oh, that's great. I'm going to take another look back at Adams real quick. Probably should speed up back to 50 miles an hour. Little house area. There's a... I remember this from, like, Australian Outback, I guess the route was called. Yeah, and you go up here, and there's a lake. I guess, like a swimming lake, and then there's a campsite up here. And it's like, you're not going to see this from the track. You're not going to see this from the track at all, but it's still here. Depth of world. If I ever build a route like this, that's something I'm certainly going to be doing. We're going up a grade again. I am paying less attention to my train. I think my favorite Easter egg in any Trainz route is the one in Eagle River, with the guy and the bear watching TV on top of the mountain. I don't actually have Eagle River, so I wouldn't know that one. Oh, my clock's going off. Ellis really did some amazing bridge work. Even if some of them are single pieces, like the RJ Cannon bridge you did over. Yeah. Honestly, it kind of amazes me, like in the in-universe lore, how the Volga Mountains, because the Volga Mountains I don't imagine is a particularly rich railroad. Like, it's not a particularly we're going downhill again. It's not a particularly profitable line. And how they could afford massive bridge works like that. I mean, I guess the Milwaukee Road Pacific extension had some pretty impressive bridge work, and that was a complete and utter disaster. I know I'm going to make enemies, but the Pacific extension never should have been built. But having said that, I still love it anyways. Half the reason why my fictional area, the Washington, Ohio, is heavy into electrics, and half the reason is just like, I remember running that route as a kid and thinking the little Joes were really cool. Here's another bridge. This one over another river. Might need to start braking a little bit, because I'm pretty sure from here down through Bristol Cut. What's this called? The Clara River? There's a little lake up here. That's neat. Oh, as soon as I say that, we start to go up some more. Well, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm pretty sure... I don't know what I was going to say. Something about Bristol Curve. That's all I remember. Gradients. Yeah, that from here down to Bristol Curve, it's downhill, but I'm not too sure. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I could look on map view, but what's the fun in, you know... What's the fun in that? Guy the Wise has joined my Discord server. You're going into Respected. Oh, there was a crossing we didn't blow for. Aw, rip. Little Joes are always cool. Yeah. I think the Milwaukee Road is such a fascinating railroad. It's fascinating from, like, an equipment perspective, because they had a lot of really weird stuff, and it's fascinating from, like, a history and, like, an economic perspective. Because, like, I think it was on the Blue Streak podcast where I was talking, or maybe it was after it, when we were talking with Jerry Doyle, and he said that, I think it was after, he recommended, The Nation Pays Again, which is written by the last general counsel of the Milwaukee about the bankruptcy, and he's like, yeah, the Milwaukee Road was kind of rare that went everywhere by going nowhere, as in, it always took the longest route to every location, and the Rock Island is kind of a similar way. And yet, I don't know, I guess people like an underdog. One thing that makes fictional routes more interesting is the lore. It really helps you get immersed with the universe knowing they actually have some meaning to them. Yeah, exactly. And it's as I said, with like the abandoned tracks and the buildings off into the distance where you're not even going to see them from the tracks, if those are there, it makes it a lot more interesting to get to think about, like, okay, why is that there? Why were those tracks there at one point? You know. JR routes are great. I love JR routes, and JR routes certainly contain that to a small extent, but, like, if you go off in the background of a JR route, it just kind of disappears off. And I do know they do that for a reason, I'm pretty sure, which is, like, performance, to save on performance and whatnot. But, I don't know, it's just not the same. If I remember right, Ellis took some inspiration from the Pensy for Bristol Curve and took it to the extreme on the opposite end, single-track hairpin. Yeah. Once we get to Lion's Head, I'll take like a 5-minute break, go to the bathroom. Maybe not even 5 minutes. I'll go to the bathroom, I'll come back, we'll look around Lion's Head. I don't need the sander on this flat part. Here's another passing siding. I think this is Little Creek. Yeah, Little Creek. We're actually coming into Lion's Head. Alright. First we have to go over Bristol Curve, though. Let me set the switches so I don't have to worry about that much later on. There's Bristol Curve. Where are we? We're on the right. Yeah, we're on the right track. Even in this, my game lags ever so slightly. Written documentation and history is pretty important too. Yeah, Ellis has a lot of that as well. Like I was busy reading through a lot of the Tolbrynd stuff. All right, the doc that's available on the Discord. Okay, we need to pull into Lionhead. Icer House siding. Lionhead staging north. I'm gonna pull into that track. All right, let me go back and check. Alright, there's a Little Creek speeder shed, although it would be nice if there was like an access road of some kind to actually get up there. And that's a small thing. I think my game is kind of being a bit, I guess you could say worse than normal, because I'm trying to run Trainz, and OBS while streaming at the same time. Which, yeah, that's a bit of a iffy at most. It's coming up 25 miles per hour. In that case, I'm just going to coast, more or less, into that 25 mile per hour zone. Another passing sighting. There's a lot of passing sightings on this route. It's a single track main line. I wouldn't think this would justify a double track main line, like, at all, really. I don't think this railroad carries enough traffic to justify a double track, and it would be a pain to put in anyways. I joked in one of the route building streams I did to write a 10-page document about monkey bananas, one of the industries along the tramway trolley line. I remember that from last stream I was watching. Although, I had to leave halfway through that stream because me and my friends were recording a future video. If some of you are in the part of the Foomer group, you may or may not know what I'm talking about, but red signal, we're gonna go right through it because it's red because I set the tracks on towards Lionhead. Like 25 miles an hour. We're going on to Bristol Curve, which is this kind of hairpin. It's very similar to Horseshoe Curve, I guess. Like, similar layout and whatnot. Except it's on a single track main line. And I don't know for certain, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that in order to cut down on that, the red signals, I can do whatever I want. Yeah. In order to cut down transit time, the Volga Mountains have been building this, which is the Bristol Cutoff. There's a little siding here, and there's no bridge right now. I guess the last thing they have to do is get the bridge in. Maybe that's for the, maybe they're advertising a new fast freight service, because there is a train that's staged on the route, which is a couple of RS3s and a long string of TFOC. I know the Southern Pacific did that with the Blue Streak merchandise. In the 1960s, there was a section in Arizona where, if they realigned the track, they would cut off, like, an extra minute of running time off the BSM schedule. And the BSM had a 50 and a half hour schedule between St. Louis and Los Angeles. And I don't think SP ever had any intentions of getting that down, but they wanted to make the BSM basically run as fast as they could. And if that involved picking up the railroad and putting it somewhere else, so be it. 10-page document, question mark? Do it, Reading. Unironically do that. That would be amazing. But yeah. The Bristol Curve does take a while to get around, so I can entirely see why the Volga Mountains decided to build that new cutoff. As I said, I don't know if that's the case for certain, but just looking at everything, looking at the route, that's something that you could reasonably figure out. And that's another thing. Like, if you can figure out some of the lore just by looking at the route, that is a successful route. That's really neat. Honestly, as I said, aside from the fact that it's not done, the only thing I'd really criticize about this route is it's a bit tough on performance with all the speed trees. That's really my only criticism of the route. And big criticism. I have a bunch of, like, billions of small nitpicks, which half of them are just, like, my preference, like, what I'd like to see, or what would be more easy for me. So they're not necessarily, like, I gloss over most of them. Although I have said some. Patrick is trying to get Ellis on my stream. Patrick, if you're still watching, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know. Because Ellis, I asked Ellis permission to do this. Because I wasn't just going to stream, even though it is a DLS route, I wanted to ask permission. Because you never know. Right? Like, this is... I thought it'd be just, you know, the proper thing to do. And he said, yeah, go ahead. What did he say exactly? Feel free to write me anything if anything seems broken or leave it as a comment. So, I don't know if that means he's going to watch or not. Or, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Just that, like, I might have to write up something in my experience of running this. The Bristol Curve over here reminds me of... There's a part of the Iron Horseman route, I think on the Old Main, that's somewhat like this. There is this over here, which, needs to be fixed. I don't know. Maybe he's already fixed this, considering, you know, his version of the route is most up-to-date, because, you know, he makes the damn thing. I might, just for today's stream, I might have to go ahead and reduce the quality of the textures and whatnot. We are going uphill now. Well, the line side, I mean, yeah. I mean, speed trees, they're definitely nice to look at, but those farther back from the route could probably use for conversion to cardboard trees, yeah. I learned that a lot with the JNPT route when I built that. It's not a good idea, and you know it, lol. Yeah, it's not. I think that portion of the Old Main wasn't as tight, nor a hairpin, nor a horseshoe. I think you're right, but the Iron Horseman route, I kind of just downloaded it and didn't do anything with it. Redding says, alright, I'll try to do it. I can't guarantee that it'll be 10 pages, or I can guarantee, nor I could guarantee it will be pretty well made. Like in the sense in grammar and logic, but I'll try to do it. If you want to send that off to Ellis, I don't know how good of an idea that would be. I mean, if you want to run it by a few people beforehand, that's fine. Alright, 50 miles an hour. We are coming into Lion's Head. How long have we been going for? About an hour now. On my end, it still says we started streaming less than 1 minute ago. Jack, I haven't even been paying attention to the Twitch chat. Jack Boy, I'm so sorry. What's going on? Milwaukee 261 is Chad. We're on Tolbrynd, which is a route made by Bombs321, also known as Ellis, leader of the Iron Horsemen, I guess. Leader? I don't know if he's a dear leader Ellis. I don't know. And we're running it because it's a nice route, although very performance intensive. I wish the next episode would get through the snow finally, though. Yeah, we are coming into Lion's Head. For some weird reason, Lion's Head likes to murder my computer sometimes. I don't know why it likes to murder my computer, but it just does. There's the lake. Admiral of the Iron Horsemen. Unless they want me to, then I won't. Yeah, I'd ask first. Because, as I said, it's someone else's route. It's someone else's lore. I'd ask first, and then run it by some people. Like, once you complete it. We set this switch, right? Please tell me we set this switch. Did we set it? Up. Yep, we set it. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna just cut the throttle and we're gonna coast into Lion's Head. Train brake. Oh, that slowed us down a lot more than I thought. We'll keep it a good 20 miles an hour. Lion's turntable. Lion's Head is a massive Y, because maybe I'll show it up on the map. I'll get the map back up once I'm done. Because Lion's Head used to be a junction point. Ellis, I'm not... Patrick, I'm not saying that. That's weird. We are arriving in Lion's Head. Is there a coal tipple at Lion's Head? Yes, there is right there. We might need to... Oh no, that's just coal for the inside the boiler, not inside the locomotive, inside the tender. Alright. We are pulling into Lion's Head. I'm gonna tell us to stop. I don't want to stop on the crossing. I don't want to be rude. Alright, train brake. Please stop. Lionhead turn. Alright, gentlemen, we've made it to Lion's Head. I really need to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back. Give me like a minute, and then we'll look around and we'll begin switching. So, I'll be back. Well, that was quick. Well, was that a roundhouse under construction or burnt down? I'm pretty sure that this was demolished. I bring up the map. Let me find the map. Images. Tolbrynd superimposed. Alright. I actually don't know if it was demolished or burnt down, but as I said, Lion's Head used to be a lot more than it is today. Right now, it's just kind of a... Because right now, it's just kind of a town with some industry, and that's about it. But at one point, Lion's Head isn't actually on this map. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like, if you see where my cursor is, that's where Lion's Head used to be. And there's a line that used to go all the way up over here. Apparently, from what Ellis has told me, this dashed line was the original Vulgar Mountains main line, coming up over through here, because that was easier to build, and then it used to go down here. And then when they built through Doe Cliff or Deal Cliff over the massive bridge over here that you're going to see, they effectively abandoned this, and part of the right-of-way was turned into something for the narrow gauge railroad, which is rather nice. So, another thing that we need to do. We arrived at Lion's Head, pull into siding tech, switch out Lion's Head goods siding. So that's the first thing we need to do. Let's actually look around Lion's Head real quick. So how far into the future does this route go? As far as I know, because it takes place during the transition era, so like 1950s. As far as I know, the lore does not go past the 1950s. So any of the lore only goes up to the 1950s. So you got an abandoned track here. That's rather nice. You have, at one point, I guess there was a roundhouse here, a little coaling yard station. I don't think anything is based out of Lion's Head. No trains or whatnot. It's just a stop for this local and like maybe like a flag stop, and that's about it. There's the Icer House, a reference to a certain candle-making lion. Up here, the railroad goes up. More lag. The railroad goes up here, and then it becomes abandoned, and I guess when this part of the railroad was abandoned, they turned it into just a dirt road. And that's rather neat. I like that. Town of Lion's Head itself isn't that big. There's like a general store, a couple of houses. Maybe this was a company town. There's like a manor here, Lion's Head Manor, I guess. There's a coal mine, and then there's like a refinery. And then this is the end of the route as far as scenery-wise goes. And then eventually we'll go all the way up over there. But right now, I might need to turn down my video settings a little bit and not process. Because I have no idea why, for some reason. Well, partially because I'm streaming and recording and, playing this. That's, I guess, the main reason why. Alright. So, we are now here. The first thing we need to do is we need to swap out that boxcar. So, we're going to figure this out. I think we're going to have to run around our train. So let's... I'm not going to turn on the bell for this entire time because that'd just get annoying. Let's go over here. Let's make sure Lionhead siding south. But yeah, I like Lion's Head. Well, I like pretty much everything on this route, but I like Lion's Head. Because it's a town that still exists. It's a town that existed at one point as a major junction point, and now it's just a town with some industry that some people care about, and it's served by this local. Now, I will say that talking for this long can get a bit annoying at times. Not annoying, it takes, for someone who's not really used to talking a whole lot, like, doing streams can be kind of mess sometimes, especially if you're doing them by yourself. Alright. Let's, we're on the former Vulgar Mountains main line at this point. Lionhead Y south. That's set. My goal is, I want to run around the train, and then I'm going to back up onto the... what's it called? I'm going to back up, and I'm going to couple on. What time is it? 8:24? Huh. Neat. Taking a look at the map here again. That's really nice. Huh. Once a busy hub, possible for train repowers is evidenced by the roundhouse, now quiet for the most part. Most trains wandering through the idyllic town. Yeah. That's a great description. Alright. So... What I want? No, that would require a bit more switching moves. I think we're just going to couple onto the train. We're going to disconnect that lumber car. Yeah, flat car with the lumber. And then we're just going to shove the entire train. You almost hit me. I don't know. If this is successful, which it is proving to be, this route is a very big inspiration for my train routes. Oh, this route has given me a lot of inspiration for routes I'm probably never going to build. But, if this is successful, this could become like a weekly or like bi-weekly thing. Because this is really nice. This is really relaxing. Maybe, like, not just on Tolbrynd, but on like other routes as well. We could do it. Like, I have the Iron Horseman route. I have a bunch of JR routes. If anyone wants to send me one of their routes, like, provided, you know, you provide me all the content that you can legally, Listen, if you put a K and L in a route, I'm going to strangle you. No, it's fine. Actually, no. Don't send me anything illegal. But if you have a route, and if I decide to make this a normal series, like series of streams, where I just play routes and talk about what I like about them and what I not, I'd be fine with people sending me their routes. There's a lot of great unique scenes this place has. Yeah, exactly. This entire route. Oh no, we're coming in too fast. Crunch. Yeah, that was, we might have wrecked some couplers. Alright, so... What I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to shove this train on to this track. And then, yeah, on here. And then what I'm going to do is... I'm going to decouple that. Couple that on, then. Alright. Alright, we're gonna... This is some... I don't know how... This is one way of switching it out. I don't think this is the most accurate or right way. I mean, my routes are usually just extensions of other routes, so I don't care if you could exactly send them. Huh. I mean, if you want to send the route, like, independently... That's something that I used to do, like, all the way, like, a long time ago, where I just, instead of making my own routes, I just build off, like, City and Country USA on, like, mobile or something, Mobile, on Mobile, Alabama. I don't know, if there's any other good routes. There's a lot of, DLS routes that I downloaded recently. Lion's Head siding north. Alright. So, we're gonna shove this back. I do have some friends who have sent me routes, like, although for the most part they're module. Like, Ryan sent me, it's not out yet, but Dirty Water, Waterbury, Dirty Water is the route called. It's like a module. You know, the DLS is really hit or miss for content. Yeah, I downloaded a bunch of DLS content, like, when I first installed it, not realizing that most of it was kind of garbage. There are some nice DLS routes, I will say. We're about to be hit. And you're dead. But... there are a lot of really nice DLS routes, like, that are actually competently made, that I could download. But, for now, we're just gonna shove... Well, actually, For what I need to do, the only thing I need to shove back here for now is the, We're gonna stop in the crossing, aren't we? Nope, just before. Is this. Let's, there's so much bad stuff. Not really bad at it, just kind of obscures all the good stuff. Yeah. It also, like, depends, because, like, a route in, like, made, like, 2006 would be god-awful now. So, routes that people considered used to be good, may or may not be considered good now. There's bar. I like how the grass is absolutely everywhere. Like, this is clearly not, like, maintained. Like, this is, like, only maintained to what is absolutely necessary. Break. Alright, we're gonna pull on to this, we're gonna couple onto that. We're gonna couple that up to the what's it called? This. And then I think for now that's all the other industries I think are over there. So yeah, the stations are in a real, because as I said, this up here used to be the original main line. So there they just kind of have like a flag stop, and I don't know if many things pass there. Makes me wonder what content would be considered good in 10 years. Yeah, exactly. Huh. I don't know. Trainz in and of itself is not a particularly good, like, simulation. What it is good, it's good for content making, and, like, it's a creative tool. Hello? Boxcars? There we go. Oh, that was really weird. Alright. I'm just gonna go with it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. That was downright bizarre. But that's fine. Alright. Stopping. I don't like how 19 changed the default sound effects. I didn't know that. I haven't messed around. Like, I downloaded 19, and it's on my computer. I just probably loaded it up maybe like 3 times. I'm fine with Trainz, with Tane for now. Like, eventually people are... I've noticed that because, like, from when people start switching over from, like, 12 to 19, I noticed it normally takes, like, I don't know, 3 years or so for the community to mostly switch over to the newer version. I mean, I'm comfortable with Trainz. I don't know when I'm going to switch over to 19. Like, I know there are people still using 2006 well up until after Trainz 12 released. Well, Trainz 12, because whenever the new version released, there's initially a lot of pushbacks. It's like, aw, and, you know. But eventually, as people begin to make, I wonder if you could chart this out. The wheel spinning sound doesn't like real wheels turning. I wonder if you could chart this out where it's like, the more exclusive content a Trainz version releases, the more likely the overall community is to switch over. Because there has to be people out there who are still like, oh, I'm still using Trainz 2006 or something like that. But, what do we have to do after this? Switch out Lionhead Colliery. Alright. Oh, that's over there. We do eventually have to head in that direction. South. Guess that's the schoolhouse. Little one-room schoolhouse. Right next to the railroad tracks. Huh. I guess there's a lot of buildings here. I think that might be interesting, because I don't know how many people actually live in this town. It does seem a disproportionate amount of industry for the people who actually live here, I've noticed. I don't know, maybe, like, here's the flag stop and whatnot. Maybe people commute up here from, like, Olive or whatnot, or from the surrounding area. They commute into town. Oh, need to go back a little bit more. Neither does the coupling. Ah. Hello? Please, move backwards. Yep. Regulator forward. Alright, I want to keep this low. Like, real slow. Right. Train brake. Independent. Alright. The coupling sound kind of reminds me of a barrel falling on the ground. Huh. Right. Going smooth. Want to get this a right place. Like, centered. Hello? Why are you sliding? Oh, it's coupler slack being coupler slack. Alright. There we go. First carload of freight delivered. How's that kind of feel? I know the rolling stock SFX from our mods wasn't changed, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. Huh. Alright. Now we just need to couple back up there, and then we need to work the colliery. Or the mine. Colliery or mine? I guess there are two words for the same exact thing. Lionhead siding. Just the siding. I do really want to use this asset on a route one of these days. If I ever built, like, the abandoned turntable. Alright. Pull. I guess we're pushing. I was about to say pull forward, but now we're pushing forward. As I said, I haven't really messed around with night. What? Is this? Excuse me? What? Alright. That's off the track ever so slightly. I don't know. What was that? What? Train derailed. Your train has derailed. Where? Uh, I am so confused right now. What parts of rarities do you think will survive in 21st, like the entire 21st century? I don't know. I do think now I'm all the way back here. What I do think that we will eventually get one-man crews. Maybe not now. Maybe not within like the next. I do think one-man crews and eventually driverless trains are going to be a thing, but like not anytime within the next 10 years or so. I also think that you might see railroads by like not necessarily merge. I don't know. The more like when you're talking about like a supply chain, typically a supply chain like does it in the most. A supply chain will naturally, you know, evolve into the most efficient way possible. So think about like parts of railroading now and how you could make that more efficient. Like, there's been a few predictions. Like, as I said, I think technology will eventually enable one-man crews and then maybe driverless trains. Although, I coupled to that real quickly. But not anytime within the next 10 years. I think intermodal will basically become the primary, like... There's probably going to be more intermodal trains than anything else in the future because intermodal is just that good. There are a few, like, predictions that people have made. Like, I remember, a couple, Trainz Magazine had, like, an article which was, like, rares in 2040 and whatnot, and it was, like, a story. And there was a blog spot certain thing. At this point, rares are practically too big to fail. Most businesses, in some way or another, are too big to fail. Although, I don't think... Why aren't we moving? I don't think railroads are failing. Like, I don't know. There's a tendency for people to equate change in the railroad industry to failing. Like, oh yeah, if railroads aren't doing the same thing that they've always been doing, they're failing. Like, oh, that's never going to work. I don't know. I don't know why our locomotive all of a sudden just doesn't want to run. Rig. Alright. Now you want to decouple. Excuse me? I don't know what this locomotive is doing today. I've never had this problem. Is it with this model specifically? Yep, couple. Really roughly, because I don't care. Does this thing just not want to reverse? Yeah, no, that annoying glitch was removed from Trainz. Hello? Train? Hello? 19? Okay, I'm gonna respawn in the locomotive. That's the city of New Orleans. Whoop, I am back. Welcome back. I am currently trying to work my way through a really annoying glitch. No running number. 98. Oh yeah, you can change the tenders on these things. I forgot. Can you? I swear you could change. There was a certain model where you could, like, change the engine number. Or something like that. I might... If this doesn't work, I might just have to do the rest in, like... Hello? Locomotive? Please, function. I might... What if I do it in, easy mode? Work then? That's going forwards. Alright, I might just have to do the rest of this in easy mode. Mostly because for some reason realistic mode is trying to be a pain today. But, yeah. I am sorry about that. You asked me to CN KCS merger is unnecessary. I mean, I think my thoughts on the whole Kansas City Southern debacle is, honestly, I think merging Canadian Pacific with Kansas City Southern is a good idea. The primary reason being is balance, right? Kansas City Southern and Canadian Pacific are the two smallest Class 1 railroads. And by merging them, you would have a system that would roughly equal the size of Canadian National. There would be two Canadian railroads with a heavy presence in the United States, with both going down to the Gulf of Mexico. And in CPKC's instance, it would also go down to Mexico itself. CN-KCS, I think, sets up a position where CN would have to merge with someone else. Well, they wouldn't have to, but they would be under immense pressure to. So, honestly, there are a lot of rare mergers that, like, I don't know, merging Canadian Pacific with Kansas City Southern is a good idea. I don't think merging it with Kansas City Southern with Canadian National will work. Like, I don't think in the long term, when you look at the whole competitive balance between various railroads, it's a particularly good idea. You also have something like CSX Pan Am, where it's a mess in and of itself. Where, like, New England, for example, isn't really served, for the most part, by Class 1 railroads. I mean, they're there. Like, CSX has the BNA, and Canadian Pacific's kind of in there with the CM&Q, but, like, Pan Am, I don't... why am I doing this? I should couple back... fuck. I messed up. I was too busy talking about this in order to focus. I don't know. There are some instances in where having two railroads merge into one is a good idea. There are some instances where having a Class 2 merge into a Class 1 is a good idea. Partially because one thing that I think many people tend to forget is that a Class 1 railroad generally has more resources to, get customers and whatnot than, like, a Class 2 or a Class 1 has. Yeah, but I feel like it's ridiculous to have a railroad that big. I mean, people said that about Penn Central. People said that about CSX or a lot of other railroads. I don't think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's ridiculous to have a railroad that big. It's just in the long run, there's a better way of doing it. There's a better way to kind of maintain competitive balance, so to say, while allowing a merger, and that's to allow CP and KCS to merge. And honestly, I think the STB kind of agrees with me, so. Our next thing that we have to do is we have to switch out the Lionhead colliery, which is over here. We're gonna have to straddle the main line for a little bit, which is going to be fine. What we have to do is, I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to swap out this. That's there's lumber that we need to pick up. And we need to switch out the coal hoppers. And then there's that's what we need to do in Lion's Head. And then we need to go to Elvira Valley Grain, which is the next industry. That's currently on an unscenic portion of the route. And then we just drive off into oblivion, because I'll show you the switch lists real quick. I'll show you the switch list. This is the switch list, basically. So, we've done all this. This is what we have to do. Switch out Lionhead Colliery, switch out the grain, Elvira Valley Grain. That should be fixed. Depart Lion's Head heading northbound, arrive at North Staging. So we need to go home, basically. Arrive back to where we were, which was North Staging. And that should be a good, I don't know, 2 hour, 30 minutes? I would have loved to know how things turned out if SPSF gone through. SPSF is kind of a whole nother can of worms. I'm trying to do my switching quickly because switching is fun, but it's also can be a bit boring and tedious at times. Luckily, we're most of the way done with our switching. Where's Kerbal Valley Grain? Where? I'm assuming you're talking about Elvira Valley Grain, in which case we're going to have to do a really bizarre switching maneuver to get to that. This is the Elvira Valley, I guess. This little area over here. Sorry about that. I forgot to go back to my normal thing. What's it called? My normal... The game, not just me looking at chat. Alright. So... Alright, so we're gonna pull up on here. I'm gonna take another 5-minute break because I need to go to the bathroom again. Videoception. Yes, videoception indeed. Because when I drink a lot of water, I need to go to the bathroom a lot. So let's stop at the flag stop. No one's going to get on because this is a local freight, not like a mixed train or whatever. I do wonder if there are any locals that... Because in the AI session that I played, no locals actually stopped here, which was the weird thing. Alright. So, I'll be right back again. Oh, and my jazz music stopped playing. Oh, the video ended, that's why. Oh, there. It's back. But, I will be right back. I am back. Sorry about that. Back to the video. Apparently we're now stuck at the thing. Anyways. Lionhead Mine Lumber. Alright. So... There's the damn road thing again. Yeah. There's a truck, our mortal enemy. Now it's time for us to back out. We need to... What do you think of BNSF and CSX Heritage units? I mean, I don't... I would like them. Like, I don't mind that they don't have them. Like, Rare doesn't have to make Heritage units if it doesn't want to. But honestly, I'd like them. I think they would be neat. Oh, are you talking about, like the Spirit units and, like, the 25th anniversary unit that BNSF has? I think they're neat. I really like CSX 1776. the veterans unit with the camo. I just think that looks really cool. No, I mean the sticker unit. Oh, the sticker units? Eh. I mean, I've seen some of those sticker units. They're neat to see. I know people like to complain that they're not full-on heritage units, but, like, I think people just complain too much about railfans like to actually, no, let me rephrase that. Railroaders like to complain. I don't know why. It's just a thing that people like to do. I kind of kicked the car down there a little bit. But, we have to... I got to see the BNSF 25th go past my school. That's really neat. I wish I had train tracks that were less than 15 miles away from me. I have to go and couple up to that. We have to swap this out, and then we have to swap those coal hoppers out. So... then we have to go up to the grain, then we have to go back. Well, previous school. Oh, okay. I don't think we're gonna have time to run the Gilson and Eastern today. Not there anymore? Yeah. We could take a look at it, though. Anybody on Twitch? Nope. Yeah, I'm in easy mode because realistic mode was not cooperating. Not at all. Got to see a ton of cool stuff there. That's nice. Alright, we got our flat car. Yes, there's some lumber. We need to put our other lumber flat on the siding. There's this industry, which is Lionhead oil. We don't need to switch that out. We don't. That's not on our manifest. That just stays there. Backing up. Lionhead mine lumber. It is getting... what time is it? 9 o'clock. We're probably gonna go for another hour. And then... I'm probably going to... not... go to bed, maybe? I don't know. Executive management. That's really neat. Yes, I have to go 15 miles north to do pretty much all my rail fanning. It takes 30 minutes to get there. Which kind of sucks. They can't do it often, but... it is what it is. Couple. Now we just need to put that on there, and we need to swap out the hoppers, and everything should be good. I'm going to shove it onto the main line ever so briefly, and then I'm gonna... shove, like, the boxcar and the flat car and the grain car onto the main line. Wasn't it Pan Am who had the two GP9s in the MEC and B&M paint schemes? Yes, it was. They only had them for about a year, though. I think they sold them to a rare museum. Like, I don't know. Somewhere in New Hampshire, I think. Oh. Stuck at the station again. Oh. I know because they sold the Heber Valley. I was blanking on the name of where they sold them to. Yeah, the Heber Valley. I know nothing about that. Huh. Here's my clock. A Lionel clock. I don't know if you could hear that or not. I assume you can, so... It's like a Lionel clock with various, like, model trains, Lionel model trains on it, and whenever the sound, like, the hour hits, they make noises. Alright. Uncouple. We have to... shove these 3 onto the main line briefly. All the way out in the middle of nowhere, Utah. Yep. Although Heber Valley has some nice... I think they... Aren't they the ones with the... Like, this really weird, like, low-slung ex-army unit? Or something like that. That they painted up in Rio Grande. I don't know if that's narrow gauge or not. It might be. Huh. Guy the Wise. I've seen it to Railfan CSX, whatever line is 5 miles away from me. Here in Bostic, but they got a transfer yard or something. I doubt they let me inside. College is back up. Yeah. Huh. Kind of annoying when there's a... See, my problem is I want to go rail fanning, but I don't have... Not necessarily the time, it's just hard to get there, because I don't have my license yet. It's 30 minutes away. Oh, excuse me. They had that army loco. Yeah. That must be an opposite, like, infuriation, where you want to go rail fanning, and it's right there, but you can't. Huh. Alright, that's good enough. Now, up. There are multiple... Where are these passengers going? Are they just... They can't board my train. Like, haha, screw you. No crossbucks there. I guess that's one thing that would need to be fixed. You just have to place, like, crossbucks in some locations. Like, there was a crossing. Excuse me. It's getting to be that time of the night. I've been recently going to bed at 12, and I can't do that 'cause school, but... I'm gonna try and go to bed, you know, at not super late at night now. What do I have to do? I have to pick up those hoppers. Heber Valley used to have a locomotive that was in a lot of movies, and one SP260 that Nile River has now. I like Southern Pacific. To be honest, I don't really pay attention to, like, tourist railroads. My friend Ryan's big into tourist railroads, but... I don't know. Part of my problem is also an irregular single track. Ah, I see. Alright. I know one of the installation cells is a GP10. Hold on, let me find out. Don't... Oh. Thought the track ended back there. I panicked for a second because I thought that was, like, up against, like, a bumper. Even though it's not. Even though... Are there even bumpers here? Yeah, there are 2. And I thought I was about to derail. But we gotta couple that onto that. What I'm actually... What I'm actually going to do... Because the problem with Elvira... We need to go back south, basically. We need to go back south to... north. That's north. This is south. We need to go back... north to staging, right? USAX 4028. RS4TC, I believe. The problem is, we have to switch Elvira Valley Grain, which is all the way up there. And the spur is in a position where it's kind of weird, so I might actually have to turn my entire train around, not necessarily caboose first, but have the caboose behind the locomotive, and then switch it out that way. Actually, hold up. Yeah, I have to do this. Up. Searchlight. Epic. Yeah, that's something I'm going to have to do. Alright. The hopper's kind of in a weird spot. And a 44-tonner. MRS-1. That's neat. No Bluegrass Railroad Museum has 1 or 2 MRS-1. Alright, about to couple up. There we go. Actually, we need to push this forward. And then put the hoppers in there. Elvira Valley Grain is up there. I think all the U.S. Army stuff was donated to them. That'd be neat. Actually, what I can do... No. Where am I going to run around the train? I might just go... that first. Actually, I might go on the Y and then come back. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm doing a Chad move and getting the IHR route. The IHR route's really good. It's not, like, really good. It's not as good as this. It's bigger, and honestly, the IHR route, it is a really good route. It's a really big route. You can do a lot. It is a bit, dated. Also doesn't help the fact that the IHR route was not... at least in part, like, hello? Do not move. The IHR route does look a bit dated. And a lot of parts aren't finished, but, it is still a really good route. There's a lot more to do on the IHR route than this. You could spend an entire year doing stuff in the IHR route and just, like, not get... always find something new. Hello? I'm gonna put you down to make that stop. Alright. Where's the switch? There is the switch. Lionhead mine. Alright, what else? Honestly, I was going to make... if I was going to make a route for trains, or a train series, then I wouldn't make it quite as detailed as I would as a normal route. I made a route for a train series, and it did eventually get used, only in one video, though. I'm gonna put you down to make that stop. What is that supposed to mean? Have you considered discharging 50 psi brake pressure? I'm in easy mode right now, for the most part because, are you behind on the stream? I'm in easy mode right now because Realistic wasn't cooperating with me. surprised my internet hasn't died this time. Normally it likes to die. It wouldn't necessarily have to be a fully detailed route. I mean, I guess. I mean, with route building, I guess there's a lot of just, it's good enough. Oh, I meant to switch to, gonna fill up with coal. That's not what I wanted to happen, but, what does the switch list say? The switch list doesn't say anything about this, so... Alright, we have to... that on. I'm going to... run around the train. I'm gonna pull back here, and I'm gonna run around my train. Then we're gonna go out to Elvira Valley Grain. And then... oh, just hit the apostrophe. Also a bit behind. Alright. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna run around my train, because I don't... going freight car first, I don't think is a particularly good idea. Not that it matters in something that, like... realism. Alright. We're gonna couple up there. There we go. Alright. Lines head Y, lead west. Or west. Lines head Y, west. Alright. So, what's one thing people should do when making a train series? Come up with an original idea. Just don't, like, come up with an idea that, like, try and come up with something that no one's done before. Or at least, if they have done before, try and do it better. Because honestly, the fifth, like, ha ha ha, look how, you know, self-aware meta, look how bad we are. You know, haha, Rav bad, 311 bad is kind of getting old. I know that may sound a bit hypocritical involving a person that literally makes a series like that. But, honestly, that idea's kind of been done to death, and, like, I think more historical series would be great. Me and my friend Ryan are working on a series about Penn Central, or just 70s railroading in general. Maybe a series from, like a faltering, like, we had an idea which was like a faltering Midwestern railroad and stuff involving that. I'd say it's okay just to use a previous idea, just try to dress it up better so that it looks new. That too, like, if it's... because honestly, coming up with an original... me and Ryan debate this all the time, if coming up with an original idea is particularly hard. He says it's not, but for a lot of people, that kind of is. It is hard to come up with an original idea for a series. So in that case, yeah, it's okay to use a like, Iron Horseman is basically just... it's the spiritual successor to, the Full Buccaneers, basically, right? And even then, the first few episodes of Full Buccaneers are basically just, like, Tugs ripoffs. Like, everything builds on one another. I wouldn't say that because the Full Buccaneers started out as a Tugs ripoff, that Iron Horseman is a Tugs ripoff. It's clearly not. It's something unique. So, someone's calling me. I'll be right back. Well, you kind of did it first. We were not the first people to make up a parody. We were not the first people to do that. I guess the first parody, I guess you could say, was... I think it was San Juan Trainz with the knockoff and Loqualetti. That was kind of a parody of Bad Train series. Although, it was also kind of a parody of Darger's videos, although Darger's videos are really nice. But, I'd like to say we popularized the idea of that, of, like, making fun of Trainz series and parodying it and whatnot, because, I mean, I'm pretty sure 311 Episode 1 actually has more views than Raw Episode 1, which, when we came out, yeah, Trackage Fights has a great concept. Not a parody, just the first parody of 311. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did that. And Rav, too. 311 is more of a parody of Rav than it is of 311. 311's barely in it. Although that's also kind of there because, like, sometimes series have, like, very little things to do with their title. Trackage Fights was off. It is a great concept. It is an amazing concept that I haven't really seen done before. The execution is kind of If Trackage Fights made me really Trackage Fights Episode 1, and I don't know if this was intentional, and if it was intentional, then that's brilliant. That's really good, but Trackage Fights Episode 1 made me really hate the main character. I really don't like the main character of that series. If that was intentional, if, you know, the Russian guy is, like, if the whole plot of the series is that this 18-year-old foamer who took over a railroad slowly realizes that not everything is about preservation, and yes, there's actually things involving involving a railroad is completely different to what a lot of people think it is, especially rail fans, then that would be really, it would end up being really good, end up being really brilliant. Is that where they're going to go? Maybe, but the execution could be better. They also advertise themselves as what, like, yeah, from what I can tell, it was. I posted a comment about it. I did get a response I did as well. Like, I commented on the first episode, I like the Russian guy, he makes sense, and the guy hearted it. So, like, if that's where they're going, then I think it could actually turn into something rather great, especially because if the longer you make a Trainz series, the better executed it's going to be. Unless you're like Rav, when all your episodes are about the same level of competency. Like, even Episode 1 of 311, looking back on it now, even a lot of 311, most of it, in fact, looking back on it now, it's like, why did we do that? And, honestly, as it stands, I feel like a lot of people are hating on it just to hate on it. And while I do agree that the execution is kind of awful, if they can manage to actually pull it off, and, like, make it something good, and actually, like, carry on with what they're alluding to, I think it actually could be rather great. New Trainz series, rare versus rare in fictional universe. Yeah, that's actually a really great concept. And it's an original concept, too. Like, something that I haven't really seen a lot of people do before. Or if they have done before, it was a really long time ago and no one paid attention. It was more meant to rip on Bill Vu instead of ripping off bad Trainz series that use the same route. I mean, I guess. There were some, like, you know, parodic. There are some elements of parody in it. Like, even, like, the first series that we ever made, me and Ryan ever made, JMPT, which only got Episode 1 made just for the hell of it, pretty much. We made Episode 1 recently just for the hell of it. We had a route for that, we had everything. Like, that was... Ryan noticed that, at the time, in 2017, that most Trainz series involved either a fictional shortline or, like, a Class 1 of some kind. There weren't really a lot of series on tourist railroads, so me and him were like, how about we make a series on a tourist railroad? And then the creation of 311 didn't involve me at all. Ryan just came to me one day with a script and said, do the lines. He's like... Because at the time, Ryan was very critical of Rav, and he's like, what if I just make something to piss Rav off? And little do we know, 4 years later, we exceeded them views and got Nicholas Clemens to sing Ruler of Everything, which, I don't think I've shown that off yet, but... Yeah. So yeah, my number one suggestion when making a Trainz series is try and look what other people are doing. And you can take inspiration, of course, but don't do exactly what everyone else is doing. Try and come up with an idea that at least semi-original. Doesn't have to be an entirely original idea. At least original enough that, like, it can differentiate itself. Another thing about a Trainz series, right, is, you have to be willing, to tell a story. Like, I think a big problem with Trainz series nowadays is a lot of people have them just for the sake of having them. For 10 US Ghost, hello. He is on the Twitch end. You have to be willing. Your first thought should be, alright, what story do I want to tell? And go from there. Just thinking about it saying, oh, I want to make something, I want to make a series, right? And then going from there, like, while that can work out, that leads you down a much more uninspired, unoriginal path than saying, oh, I have this story about X that I can tell. It's like, yeah. That's exactly what Ryan did to me as well. It's surprising how a simple school project can spiral out so far. Yeah, surprisingly. Alright, I'm actually gonna do, once I couple back up to our train, I'm going to, go back up here. Then we're gonna head out to Elvira Valley Grand. We're gonna switch that out, and then we're gonna head back to, I guess, staging, I guess you could say. Jackson, which is currently off map. Gotta have a drive to tell a story. Yeah, exactly. Or just, that doesn't just go with, like, that goes with any story to begin with. Like, I've noticed that, you know, there are a lot of school like, for example, in middle school, we did the whole NaNoWriMo, where you have to write an entire novel in 1 month. And I've noticed that if you start with, I've noticed that when you're trying to make anything, like anything creative, writing, film, whatever, and you start with, hey, or a book or whatever, it's like, oh, I want to tell a story about this, or I want to inform people about this. I feel like that's a much better path than say, oh, I want to write a book. I don't know what it's going to be about, though. I just want to write one. Or I want to make a video. I don't know what it's going to be about. I just want to make one. You gotta actually have a drive in order to actually do it, and a reason for doing it other than just doing it for the hell of it. Oh yeah, backwards, not forwards. Sorry. Alright, we've switched out Lionhead. That took about an hour. It took an hour to get here. It took an hour to... Actually, I think it only took around 45 minutes to get here, because for about 15 minutes of that... I think the first 15 minutes were just me just talking and just, like, switching and whatnot, so... It should take... Is this pre-recorded? No, this is all live. I'm all doing this right now. I am recording it just for the sake of recording it, but this is all streamed. Yeah, as I said, with writing, planning is key. Like, just jumping into something and starting to write it isn't, like, that's not something that... Well, as I said, you can do it. Oh, sorry. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I do everything. If I'm streaming, I do it live, basically. I do make videos on my YouTube channel, and of course those are obviously pre-recorded. But if I'm streaming on YouTube or Twitch, 99% of the time it's going to be live, unless I'm, like, bringing up a video on stream. It helps to plan out. Yes, it does. Hello? Oh. Oh. I set the switch the wrong way. I fucked up. Emergency stop. I don't know. Kind of jumping it somehow worked out for me for the most part. I'm not saying that's something that you can't do. It's just that it helps to plan, at least to some extent, I've noticed. Because with planning, you're a lot more organized. You're always going to be more organized. You're always going to be more focused. I mean, not always. Like, different people work different, but at least in my experience. Because then you're just making stuff up as you go along, and that's sometimes... Guess it depends on the person. Oof. Yeah, I derailed, because I didn't set the switch in the right direction. Damn. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 6. 6 coal hoppers, I think we had. I think it's a case-by-case thing. Yeah. I don't know, I'm just saying what works for me in the whole creative process. Planning is what works for me. Also, I accidentally unloaded all the coal hoppers. I will say that this hasn't been a flawless run. Alright. Let's depart Lionhead. We're going to Elvira Valley Grain, which is just over the mountain. We're gonna switch that out. And then we're gonna head south. Is there already a core idea I can, or am I starting brand new? Yeah. Like, is there something that's similar to what you're making that you can kind of use for reference, or is it just something completely new? And everything is based off everything to some extent. Like, you're always gonna get inspiration, right, from places that you see. Alright, Lion's Head has been switched out. That's rather neat. Plan it out, but if you're making sandwiches, goose and gas, not really needed. I'd actually dispute that. I dispute that. Because when me and Ryan went to make what was it? TTOC311 or whatever, I don't know. We didn't plan it out, and me and him have been kicking each other every single day for maybe the past 2 years for not exactly planning it out. To an extent, yeah, I guess. Like, even route building, like in Trainz, or like doing stuff in Kerbal Space Program, or literally anything, really. I've realized that if I plan something out, it goes a lot more smooth than not planning. Alright, we're about to go from actual terrain to the gray valley of nothingness. The only thing that we have to do left in terms of switching is Elvira Valley Grain, which is up there. So, and then we can go home. Or go home, which... Go back south to Olive. Although I don't think we're going to stop there. We're just going to run right on through. How would you theoretically plan it out? Plan out characters, plan out plots, you know, locations and whatnot. I mean, if it's a one-off thing, I don't think you... Even if it's a one-off thing, but, like, it helps to have a reference to go back. Because, like, when you're doing an overarching story, planning is kind of essential. Because then you're just kind of going willy-nilly. And, I don't know, sometimes it's fun to do that. Like, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's fun to just improvise. Like, me and my friends recorded, in Saga of Larry Shipmore the movie over the summer, right? And the whole point of that series is just to be dumb and to improv every single line of it and what. I guess that's correct to an extent, but if you're trying to have an overarching story and not just be like, haha, stupidity, that would be, that'd be better to actually plan. Going for 2 hours, 20 minutes. Surprised my internet hasn't died. We are coming up on Elvira Valley Grain. So, we might have to straddle... Actually, no. I could just switch it out like that. Alright. I don't think I stopped in time. Please, stop. Stop, train. 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 I think there's some room for at least some improvisation. Yeah, of course. Like, that's important. Like, you can't... I've noticed that sticking to a script, like sticking to a script 100%, is kind of boring, to be honest. Like, throw some stuff in there. It doesn't matter. Steven, now playing Trainz. Sorry, I was tabbed out real quick. As I've progressively gotten, as it's gotten later and I've gotten more tired, I've just like, I've been less precise in my controls. But yeah, we're gonna have to leave this straddled out on the main line for at least a minute or two. I don't know. That's another thing about this route, like, because there's still a lot of parts of it that are just unfinished, right? Like, this part isn't finished, and you have, like, Mason's Landing and Mason's Valley that isn't finished, and whatnot. And it's just like, what would all of this look like scenic? Like, all said and done. You know, just in case. So yeah. What's the longest stream I've ever done? I don't know the answer to that question. Like, this might end up being the longest stream I've ever done. I have to wake up at like 10 tomorrow. 10. I have to wake up at 10 tomorrow. God, I have such a painful existence. No, I have to, crunch. I just killed the coupler. Was it easy getting Nicholas to voice in 311? We had to... Ryan could tell this story infinitely better than I could. But I'm 90% sure we had to trick him into doing it. We're saying, oh, we're doing a series. It's not 311. I don't know the story. I'm 90% sure we tricked him into doing it, and then he found out, and he's like, that's fine. Because Nicholas Clemens will literally voice in anything. There was a lot of drama back then involving Rails of Highland Valley. More specifically, not necessarily between Ryan and Nicholas Clemens, but more Ryan and everybody else. So getting him to voice... As I said, Ryan could tell the story infinitely better than I could, simply because I wasn't, like, witness to a lot of it. But I'm 90% sure we had to trick him into doing it. And we still kind of trick him into voicing things. That's how we got Ruler of Everything. Although Ruler of Everything will probably be going into, like, the Halloween special or something, or, like, Owl Calls to the Hootening, or whenever that's coming out. Anyways. That's Elvira Valley Green. Well, we haven't switched the entire thing out yet. We need to place this down. I don't know if there are going to be any industries between here and the next town is Dowcliff, or Dowcliff? Deocliff? I'm going to call it Dowcliff, because that's what sounds the most. That's what I like the most. There's no industries in Dowcliff, and the next town on... I don't actually know the name of the next town on the route. I don't think Ellis has actually named it yet. Nope, nope. That's not what I want. You know, GP35. Yep, please stop. That's a bit too late for our tastes for this route. Although, Nicholas seems like a pretty chill guy, or at least according to my uninformed opinion. Nicholas Clemens used to do a lot of weird shit back in the day, and he still kind of does. Like, nothing harmful, really. But, like, he made Rav. Like, considering the people who are into Rav. But, honestly, we went from kind of hating on Nicholas Clemens to kind of feeling bad for him. Because he's created a monster, and he can never possibly put this genie back in the bottle he's created. Nor do I really think he wants to. Although, I don't know if he's still... Like, because he was going to reboot Rav, right? And then... I don't know if that's still a thing, because I don't actually talk to Nicholas Clemens. Every information, an ounce of information I get from Ryan. But, anyways, that's another thing that might need... Actually, we'll do some fly switching, damn it. Yeah. We're gonna do some fly switching, alright? Come on, let's go. Isn't there a map? Isn't there Rails of Highland Valley thing in Google Maps or something? There was, the Richmond City Railfan Temple, which was a random house near, Richmond, Virginia. Like, I think it was in, like, Mechanicsville, Virginia, which is, like, northeast of Richmond. And initially, we thought that some crazed robber had put Nicholas Clemens' actual house as a place of religious worship on Google. But then Nicholas Clemens basically got it... He's like, this is stupid. I don't know what happened. He got it removed, and he said it's like, it's not actually my house. I live somewhere. I live in an apartment building or something. But, we're not... I don't think we're going to be able to make this. Hold up. Environment. Derailment mode, I'm just gonna say none for now. Oh, no, 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 no. Alright. This has been a complete mess. Today, I might just want to quit here, honestly. Yep. Crunk. Coupled up. You know what? How long have we been going for? Get the B&O GP35. Oh, how long have we been going for? We've been going for... 2 hours, almost 3 hours. Alright, what I'm going to do... Because I don't really feel like... I just kind of want to sit back and talk. I don't really want to, like, run the train right now anymore. So, what I'm going to do... is I'm just gonna set the switches to where I need to go, and then I'm just gonna have them. I'm just gonna turn the train around, like using the editor. And then we're just gonna run it because the Lionhead turn. You could take up an entire afternoon just doing that, and I kind of have. Let's go back to let's just go back to Olive and set all the switches we need, and then I'm just gonna set it to drive. Set everything back towards staging. Let's just make sure everything's set in the right direction. Yeah, sorry about if I didn't do the full Lionhead turn 100% legit, but honestly, I don't think anyone's going to care. I am quite tired. And I think that's beginning to show more and more, and I'm also kind of talking is incredibly tiring. I don't know how actual streamers do this, where they'll talk for like I don't know, a ridiculous amount of time. Actually, while we're not in the scenic portion, I guess I can show other parts of this route. We'll do the Gilson Eastern for another day. Maybe next week. I'll show the rest of the Vulgar Mountains as it currently stands. So this is there's a brief, I guess you could call this double track if you really wanted to. It's more of a passing double track, really, but there's this massive bridge. This is the Mason Valley. There's this massive truss bridge. There's an intermodal train. There is a local freight. This is Dowcliff. Dowcliff is home to 3 railroads. The Mason Valley branch of the Gilson Eastern, the Mason Valley Transit Company, which is a trolley line, which is all the way up here. And then the Vulgar Mountains, which none of these 3 are supposed to, I asked Alice, and none of these 3 are supposed to actually connect here. That's pretty much the entire... Anything other interesting about this route? Here's Mason's Landing. Mason's Landing is a town that is pretty much... I don't want to say fully built. Is it fully built? It's mostly built. There's a nice drawbridge. It's the Mason Valley Transit Company is based out of here. There's the Mason Valley. This used to be the Mason Valley Railroad, but now it's just a branch. This is, I think, the town of Mason Valley itself, which is actually rather big. You know, a lot of industry. There's the standard gauge, there's the narrow gauge with a lot of dual gauge as well. I think this is the Geiger Mountains Railroad. Geiger Mountain? Yeah, it's the Geiger Mountains. And then, of course, the world famous, soon to take over the world. Where is it? It's over here. Monkey Bananas Limited. With the 3-headed monkey. Lionhead turn, speed, any percent speed run. Yeah, I'm not going for that. Monkey Bananas Limited, the most famous town in the most famous industry on the entire route. Which, this is the only industry served by the transit company, because they own a 44-tonner. The transit company, this is another thing where I'm talking about Death of World, because there's a lot of, like, the transit company used to be a lot bigger, and it shows, like, they used to serve all of these industries over here and whatnot, and this used to be their main yard, and now they're just down to a trolley line, which probably means they're gonna die in 5 years. Yep. That's something for another day. Let's just enjoy our ride back on the Monkey Bananas Limited's the Skynet of Tolbrynd. Yeah, exactly. They're everywhere. They own all the railroads. It's all a conspiracy. Monkey Bananas Limited is spying on you, even right now. But we're just gonna sit and relax as our Connie goes ridiculously fast down the mountain. But I don't know if this is going to become, as I said, the game is lagging a lot, because it's loading everything in. I don't know if this is going to become, like, a weekly thing, where I play Trainz. I don't think it's going to become a weekly thing. But I really like this format, I guess, where I can just sit back, relax, talk with people, and drive trains. Kind of like Sunday driving with. I don't know. If you have any routes, anyone has any routes, I might do another stream on this route where we do out the Gilson Eastern a little bit. Although I don't think that's going to be as long. What am I trying to say? If you have any routes you want to send me and you want me to stream, I mean, go right ahead. I have a Discord server. Bi-weekly thing, maybe? Yeah, maybe bi-weekly. Or more or less whenever I'm in the mood. I was in the mood to run some trains right now, so I'm running trains. We can just enjoy, sit back and enjoy everything. Like once in every 2 weeks? Yeah, I know. Huh. There's the, Bristol Cutoff, and we're going on Bristol Curve, which Bristol Cutoff is still very much under construction. Aha. I didn't even mean that. But, that's what I've done. I don't know. Because I don't have to run anything, I think I'm going to increase the render distance up a little bit more. Let's see if my computer can run it. It can. Yeah, I have a bunch of routes in mind. Like, okay, my main problem with building routes, right, is that I immediately hyperfixate on a certain area, and I start to focus on a really specific part of the route, and I focus on that forever, and then I never do anything else, and I abandon the project. So I decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a route that's literally as simple as I can make it. It's going to be a town. Bi-weekly means twice a week. Bi-weekly means twice. Every other 2 weeks is, actually, there's Google. Bi-weekly means, it can mean both, actually. It can mean either every 2 weeks or twice a week. So congratulations, you two are both correct. But, what was I going to say? I set out, it's like, alright, I'm going to make a route, and that route is literally just a town. Like, there's a station, there's a freight house, there's a small abandoned yard area, there's a Y. It's like, I'm just going to build that, I'm going to make it as simple as I can make it, while still being somewhat interesting, partially taking aspects from this route, actually. And I'm just going to complete that. I might throw it out there if it's interesting. If I feel like continuing it, I'll continue it. If I don't, I don't. But I meant finish something. Bristol Cutoff, Bristol Curve. Half monthly is bi-weekly means twice. I looked it up and it said it meant both. Half month. We'll do this half monthly, I guess, where I'll take a random route and I'll just run it, stream it. Why not? But yet again, as I said, if anyone has any routes, please. Doesn't have to be a done route. It can literally be anything. Bi means twice, so bi-weekly means twice a day, so bi-weekly means twice a week. Alright. Bi-monthly. Our bi-monthly driving series. That's even worse, because it has to render the objects behind me. Apparently, it really does not like Lionhead. For whatever reason. It's perfectly fine with every other part of the route. But for some reason, Lionhead just doesn't work. Doesn't want to work. That's a bit, frustrating sometimes. Eagle River Railway is probably my JR route. Wait, what? English? Why? It's incredibly immersive. I unfortunately do not have Eagle River. I'm not in a situation where I can buy it right now because I'm currently saving up for other things. I do have some other routes. Coal Country. I have Coal Country. I have Monongahela in western Pennsylvania. I had Tidewater at one point, but I don't know what happened. But, incredibly immersive. Actually, if we're gonna be down near the track, cut that again. There's the Bristol cutoff again. I got it as a gift for my birthday. That's fine. I will be probably getting... I don't know what I'm getting for my birthday. It's in a month. Someone has called me. It is my dad. The Vulgar Mountains Fair is incredibly fun. I really like this specific railroad on the route. It's probably... I don't know. I don't really like the Gilson eating a billion of those before. Relax and just... There's the Little Creek speeder shed. Actually, I have an idea. Can you actually, like... They're like an invisible... Excuse me. Oh, there's no track here that you can, like, put something on. That would be a neat touch. Oh, there's our train. Like a little stretch of track there where you can park your speeder. I know the what's it called? The, Avery to Drexel has that. Green signal all the way. Here's our bridge. Really nice bridge work on this route. A lot of bridges. Gilson Eastern feels a bit too big, yeah. Which, I mean, it's supposed to be the Pennsylvania Railroad, so... Like, I know why it's like that. It's supposed to be based off the PRR, and, well, the PRR was like that, so the Gilson Eastern's gonna be like that, so... I don't know. But the Vulgar Mountains, it's like the Vulgar Mountains and the Gilson Eastern don't really, based on looking at the map, they don't really directly compete. I mean, they kind of do. They kind of do for traffic, like, across the peninsula, but, like, the Vulgar Mountains feels like the underdog, and it just feels like a much more laid-back railroad. Did my stream die? On the YouTube end... everything's back. I never really liked the PR rares like the PR and NYC all that much. I like the New York Central. I like the later era New York Central. Like, post-World War II New York Central, for whatever reason. Because... I don't know. I know it's, I don't know, maybe... If I were doing this, if I were building Tolbrynd, I would... Personally, I wouldn't want to say tone down the Gilson Eastern a little bit too much, but, you know, maybe, like, you know, instead of 3 tracks, maybe there's 4 tracks, maybe there's just 3 tracks, or, you know, because one of them was ripped up, or 2 of them, or you ripped up, you know, 2 of them because they were no needed, or I'd probably out in the sections. And, like, I'd have, like, the Gilson Eastern, like, design, not the Gilson Eastern, the Vulgar Mountains design, Skyline merged, compete against the Gilson Eastern and whatnot, and I don't know. But that would be if I were doing this route, but I'm not doing this route. Nope. Huh. I don't know, I do like the branches, though. Like, the Mason Valley branch is gonna be really nice once it's done. Here's that wooden trestle. There's a swamp over there. I like how you can, if you have the render distance up enough, you can look over the swamp and you can see everything there. We can't see it right now because my render distance is low to save processing power. I like it for being I like it for being the PRR. I just don't like the PRR that much. Yeah. Although I like parts of the PRR, like the Northeast Corridor when it comes to like freights, like what's it called? Like the electric freight services. That's really neat. And then like Delmarva, where it's like a secondary with like a bunch of branch lines coming off of that. And I don't know, looking at Gilson Eastern might have that. I don't think no, it really doesn't. It's mostly just a singular stick main line. That's kind of meh. Give me my own Delmarva, damn it. Nah. It's fine. Do what you... do what you want, Ellis. I do want to create a route and Trainz with a bunch of lore behind it. So do I. The problem is that, as I said, like, I'm fine at building routes. It's just I hyperfixate on a lot of things, and it just... I begin something, and I hyperfixate, and then it just goes away. Like, I just lose interest. There's this bridge over RJ Canyon. This railroad must have a really high maintenance budget. Like, its maintenance budget must be disproportional to, like, other railroads. Like, railroads generally have high maintenance budgets to begin with because they're based all on, the railroad's based on infrastructure. For me, it's just spacing things out correctly and making realistic track work. Yeah. Have just random towns. Just, like, they don't even need to serve a purpose. They just need to exist just randomly along your route. Because, I don't know, I like that. That adds a bunch of realism to it, I think. Here's this bridge. We're coming into Adams. Let's take a look at Adams. John Adams? Adams Depot. But, I guess this is the main area. That's a garage. If this were, like, a town in Georgia, this is where, like, the Piggly Wiggly would be. I was in, damn it, I forget the name of the town, but it had, like, this dilapidated Piggly Wiggly that wasn't used, and then just a grocery store. Convenience store. It's a grocery store chain, by the way. It's, like, the most southern thing on Earth. Over here... like vintage log cabin. I guess this is like a hotel. I don't know. This does seem like a very like tourism kind of spot where you go up and you know, you go up here and you rent one of these, you rent a house or you stay in the hotel and you go up hiking. This railroad must be the exact opposite of the Rock Island. What do you mean by that? I mean, the Rock Island kind of went everywhere by going nowhere. Oh, because high maintenance budget? Yeah. Well, it's not that the Rock Island didn't have a high maintenance budget, it's not that it was a railroad in the Midwest in the 1970s. And you're basically fucked if you're in that situation. Unless you're the Chicago Northwestern managed to survive the 70s because they had Union Pacific, and the Sea Line managed to survive the 70s because they had Canadian Pacific. And the Burlington was already merged into Burlington Northern, so that left every other struggling Midwestern railroad to either declare bankruptcy or get close to it. So, yeah. How long have we been going for? Almost 3 hours at this point. Damn. I do gotta... Tomorrow I'm working. Then on Monday I have school. I'm still a bit nervous about school, but it should pass within a few weeks. It's weird how small DNRGW was, giving a bought-out SP. Yeah, DNRGW, though, because in 1984, the company was bought by Phil Anschultz, who was like an oil baron, and then he basically focused all the company's resources on coal, like Colorado coal, and that made the DNRGW a bunch of money. And then they bought Southern Pacific because of the whole after ATSF, after SPSF, they had to sell SP. So there were 3 bidders on that: Kansas City Southern, Rio Grande, and Guilford. Surprisingly, even though Guilford didn't connect with SP at all. It's Timothy Mellon for you. I don't know. Train. Nothing like the front of a steam locomotive. I ran out of water a while back. So, it's starting to get a bit dry. That's neat. Oh, there's that bridge. I don't know. I'm probably gonna... Tomorrow I'll probably make like a thumbnail of some kind. Guilford bought it out? I have no idea. Coming through the ridge. Yeah. I'm getting to be a bit tired. Sorry if I'm not talking as much as before. As I said, it's quite hard to talk for a while. Passing Ashbury Ranch. I think that's what this place is called. Saw not heard. Hypothetical Spain. They saw. That's neat. There are a lot of, I have some images of some hypothetical SP Rio Grande paint schemes. I'll post them in my Discord server after the thing. Yep. We're nearly the way back into Olive, I think. Yeah. We're about to cross over Deer Run, then the Fontara River. Actually, what's this? There's always something on this route that I haven't seen before. Ooh, what's this? Here's the Gilson Eastern. Redway Beach Road. Redway Beach. I guess these are beach houses? It's neat. That's really neat. What's this? It's a Japanese restaurant. Alright, another Japanese restaurant. I guess it's supposed to be like outdoor huts and whatever. Weren't WPD and RGW owned by the same group at one point? Yeah, Jay Gould. Jay Gould was kind of crazy. He basically wanted to buy out a bunch of railroads to form a transcontinental railroad, like a truly transcontinental company. He, built the Western Pacific, bought out the Rio Grande, bought the Missouri Pacific, along with the Texas and Pacific and the Cotton Belt. And I think the Missouri, Kansas, Texas as well, but I'm not too sure. Also the Wabash, the Wheeling and Lake Erie, and the Western Maryland, I'm pretty sure. I think we're all under Jay Gould's control at one point or another, or something ridiculous like that. What if I look this up? Jay Gould Railroads. He had controlling interest in 15% of the country's railroads at one point. Jeez. Yeah. I think the Missouri Pacific was his main thing. But let me actually look this up. What railroad did Jay Gould own? He owned a bunch. I know he owned the... Don't forget Harriman itself. I think... Yeah, Harriman owned the Union Pacific, Southern Pacific, the Illinois Central, and he was also interested... Union Pacific, Southern Pacific, Illinois Central, and I think the Minneapolis and St. Louis as well. The Minneapolis and St. Louis, which was almost going to build to Omaha, and then they would have had the shortest route between the 10 cities in Omaha, and that would become their connection, but then, you know, his entire empire kind of fell apart. Because they either die or they get broken up by the government. Well, there's the Votanara River. We're almost there. We're gonna pass through Olive, but we're not gonna stop. We're just gonna go back to staging. This freight isn't actually based out of Olive. It's based out of somewhere completely different. Oh, parking. But there's the Vulgar Mountains helper base. I think that's labeled up for the Rutland. I know there's stuff labeled up for the Vulgar Mountains. Like, this is labeled up for the Gilson and Eastern. So... But this is Olive. That's the Vulgar Mountain Station in Olive. Didn't WP build along the trail of the Donner Party? No, that was that was the Central Pacific. And the Southern Pacific, you know, because of Donner Pass and whatnot. I've always viewed the Vulgar Mountains as a railroad that's, like, based by their name. I'm pretty sure most of their traffic comes up from the Vulgar Mountains itself, like resources there, like raw resources. So, on the rest of their route, they just kind of have to deal with a whole bunch of, like, loose car, you know, onesie-twosie carloads for their traffic. Meanwhile, the Gilson Eastern has, like, a massive amount of, like, heavy industry on that. Okay, yeah. There's, what's it called? The place. The location. Olive, yeah, Olive. We're gonna run on through, because if so, that man's insane. Yeah. Oof. Anyways, I think I'm just gonna let that run on through to staging. Anyone else want to look at a part of this route before I close out? Like, there's a lot to this route. Take a look up the olive branch real quick. The olive branch is a Gilson Eastern branch. But, I thought the Donner Party... No, the reason why it's called Donner Pass is because the Donner Party died going through it. Or, funny... Not funny. Cannibalism. Lumberyard, that's rather neat. I haven't really explored this part of the railroad, actually. There's... Goes up this way. It's just a backwoods branch line, I'm pretty sure. I guess that's salt or whatever. Gravel. This is neat. This is a lake of some kind. Well, obviously. Starfish Lake. Shaped like a starfish. Olive branch coal drop off. And then there's the actual, like, olive branch, like, lumber. This is all lumber. I want to look at monkey bananas for 27 consecutive minutes. I mean, someone just texted me. We can go over to what's its place? I really like Mason Valley. Mason Valley's a really nice town. Especially like this area and whatnot with like I really like this with like the roads and the street in the middle and it's just nice. Just nice to see. But anyways, I think this is where we're gonna call it quits. Anyways, any closing thoughts? Anyone in the chat? I don't know when I'm gonna do another Trainz stream. I think this is probably gonna become like, I don't know, every 2 weeks maybe. I'll just pop into Trainz and I'll relax and I'll, you know, what's not. Because it's not like the TF2 streams where I actually need to round people up for that one. So this is probably gonna be easier to do. I don't know, maybe we'll run Trainz on various routes. Maybe we'll build a route. Who knows? If you want to, send me a route that I can run, I have a Discord server. Normally, I don't promote it, because I... Listen, if you want to join the Discord server, you're probably going to go look for one. But, if you want to send me a route, go ahead. Be literally anything, I don't care. As long as you don't send any illegal stuff. But, anyways. That has been... It's been 3 hours. Nicholas Clemens, more like Nicholas Lemons. In fact, Nicholas Clemens is gonna... he's gonna... Is this gonna get me copyright? This is gonna get a copyright. Actually, no, it's a parody, so it won't get me a copyright strike. Nicholas Clemens, in fact, is going to play us out. So... Clemens, what do you think of Tally Hall?
Juno was mad. He knew that he'd been had, so he shot at the sun with a gun. Shot at the sun with a gun. Shot at his wily one, only friend. In the gallows, in the ghetto, in the town or the meadow. In the billows, even over the sun, every end of a time is another begun. You understand, mechanical hands are the ruler of everything. Ruler of everything. I'm the ruler of everything in the end. Do you like how I dance? I've got zirconium pants. Consequential enough to ship you into a trance. Do you like how I walk? Do you like how I talk? Do you like how my face disintegrates into chalk? I have a wonderful wife, I have a powerful job. She criticizes me for being egocentric, ha ha ha. You practiced your mannerisms into the wall. If this mirror were clear, I'd be standing so tall. I saw you slobber over clovers on the side of the hill. I was observing the birds, circling for the kill. I've been you, I know your facade is a scam. You know you're making me cry, this is the way that I am. I've been living a lie, a metamorphical scheme. Detective undercover, brotherhood, objective obscene. Oh no, no, oh yeah. Do you hear the flippity jibbity jibber jabber? With an oh my god, I've got to get out of here, I'll have another word to sell, another story to tell, under another timepiece ringing the bell. Do you hear the clock stop when you reach the end? No, you know it must be never ending. Comprehend if you can, but when you try to pretend to understand, you resemble a fool, although you're only a man. So give it up and smile. Do you hear the flippity jibbity jibber jabber? But oh my god, I gotta get out here, or I'll have another word to sell, another story to tell. Do you hear the clock stop when you reach the end? Comprehend if you can, but when you try to pretend you understand, you only resemble a fool, though you're only a man. So give it up and smile. You understand? Mechanical hands are the ruler of everything. Ruler of everything. I'm the ruler of everything in the end. Without looking down, gliding around like a bumbling dragon I fly, scraping my face on the sky. Oh no, no, oh yeah.
Anyways, thank you, Nicholas Clemens. My name has been Monkey Bananas Limited, truly the ruler of everything. Anyways, why is it off? I only just noticed that now? Alright, that sucks. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Whatever that may be. Goodbye, everybody.